Ready?
Let's talk about EVs.
Self-driving.
Self-driving
Autonomous vehicles.
Car without a driver.
What if an autonomous car is forced to either kill you or a pedestrian? What's it gonna be? How did Adolf Hitler justify his actions during World War II? And what does Thanos have to do with any of this? Well, I'm sure you're already getting some ideas here, but let me confuse you a little more. Is AI related to this? Alright, consider now the following scenario. A self-driving car with 5 passengers inside of it is heading towards a heavy truck that for some reason suddenly departs from its original lane and heads directly towards the self-driving car. Let's say it's because the driver of the truck is drunk. Now obviously the autonomous vehicle is going to calculate that a heavy impact collision is inevitable, which would kill the 5 passengers inside of it, unless the car swerves towards the pavement. But unfortunately there is a old pedestrian that happens to be walking there. You see, this is a sort of situation where we can't just pass the control to the human passenger, because he's not able to reacting fast enough. So what do? The car itself has to respond to the situation at hand. And in order for the 5 passengers to be saved, the car needs to make a maneuver that will most likely kill one person. Now I want you to think for yourself. Let's say you are in the self-driving... No. I'm not going to say you are in the self-driving car, because obviously you're going to choose yourself. You selfish fuck. Let's say there is 5 passengers in the car, people that you don't know. And in order to save their lives, they're going to have to kill one person. Do you think it's okay to kill him? Pause the video and think. Okay, did you choose? Before I make you feel bad for saying yes, let me first try to put you in the context. What I have just described is called the trolley problem. And if you're not familiar with the term, this is a philosophical dilemma presented by Philip Foot in 1967. Where a trolley train is about to kill 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it, but that kills one person instead. Now in this case, most people will say they will pull the lever in order to save more people. 5 is greater than 1, it's simple math, we should sacrifice the 1 to save the 5. Right? Well, let's imagine a doctor with 5 patients. Each patient needs an organ transplant. Let's say you are coming to check for a headache. Why don't we just fucking grab you, put you on the ground, take your organs, and save the 5 patients? Why don't we do that? Somehow this turns into murder. And so the problem is more complex than it looks. During World War II, Adolf Hitler didn't justify his actions by saying they were immoral. He's obviously not going to say that. He justified them by saying they were necessary. He argued that the individual didn't matter. What mattered was the survival of the nation. And violence wasn't framed as cruelty, it was framed as sacrifice, as something that had to be done in order to avoid something worse later. Now obviously his actions were immoral, that's not even up for debate, but the idea behind them wasn't new. Mass killing for the so-called greater good is a concept that has repeated itself since the dawn of humankind. You see it in ancient empires where entire cities have been wiped out to maintain peace, in colonialism where millions have died for some countries to claim progress, order, and stability. And if this logic sounds familiar to you, let me remind you by another manifestation. In the Marvel movies, a very well-known man makes... No. Well, I'm not sure if he's a man. Let's say a very well-known creature makes the same argument. Thanos. Thanos believes that resources are not enough for all of us to live, so he convinces himself that we have to kill half of all humanity in order to survive. Now the logic behind all of these examples is the same. Killing is justified because it's framed as necessary, unavoidable, and mathematically optimal. And this is where autonomous vehicles quietly break the trolley problem we started with. In the original dilemma, the decision happens in the moment, with fear, pressure, with the human standing there, fully aware that whatever they do, someone's gonna die. The autonomous vehicle, it's not quite the same. The decision is made way long before the crash. It's made by developers, companies, and policies, and then translated into code. So when an accident finally happens, no one's choosing anymore. The system is just going to behave the way it was designed to behave. And that raises a different, much harder question. Are you comfortable with letting an AI and the people who built it decide on your behalf who gets saved and who gets put at risk? And even if you're totally comfortable with that idea, shouldn't you at least know what choice the system is going to make? Shouldn't you know how it's designed to behave if a situation like this ever happens? And please don't think this is a very rare situation. All it takes is a drunk driver. So who's exactly building this logic? And how do you actually code morality? Well, right now the industry is split into 2 different tribes. Tribe number 1 is the rule writers. This is led by companies like Mobileye, and their approach is to literally write mathematical formulas for safety. It's a formal, transparent model that calculates using physics what a safe state actually is. If a crash is mathematically unavoidable, the code creates a proper response. It's cold, calculated, but transparent. We know why it does what it does. But then there is the approach number 2, which is the black boxes. This is the approach currently being pushed by Tesla, and honestly, they did something radical. They deleted all the code, all the rules, all of the if and then statements, and replaced them with a simple end-to-end neural network. Now obviously this system doesn't have a trolley problem module, because it's not composed of a long list of rules. It uses imitation learning instead, which means it watches very long hours of real humans driving and tries to imitate what we do. And honestly, this might be the safest option for someone using a self-driving car. Because if a neural network saves you by swerving into an innocent pedestrian, it's because AI watched us, and it learned that self-preservation is what we do. So we're left with two choices here. Trust a mathematical formula written by engineers and companies that you don't know, or trust a black box that learned this logic by watching the chaotic, selfish behavior of humans driving. Or why even bother at all? Just drive yourself. It's fun. I'm Batia. Thanks for watching.